Hello my friends, welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and I'm back today with another bands you need to hear recommendation. Another band, if you're not familiar with this one, it is well worth your time checking them out. Some freaking awesome gems to be found here. This band, very much in the thrash world, they are rapidly gaining quite a position in the modern thrash metal scene, bursting out of the underground. They've been around since 2004. So far, they have released 7 full-length albums, as well as a bunch of singles. I am, in fact, talking about Los Angeles, California's very own Warbringer, the mighty Warbringer. This being their debut full-length album, War Without End, which is a bit of a beast, originally released in 2008. But actually, I'm going to change tactic. Normally, with these bands you need to hear reviews, I'll always start with the first album and then chronologically work my way through their discography. However, I'm actually going to start with this little gem. This is Wrath and Ruin, full-length album number 7, released in 2025. Spoiler alert, this absolute thrashathon, this extreme neck workout, featured in the No Nonsense Metal Reviews top 15 albums of 2025, with very good reason, I may say, because this album is an absolute beast. So, Warbringer are a Californian thrash metal band. I've already established that. However, they're not just trying to kind of emulate the classic US or Bay Area thrash sound. They're not ripping off Slayer or Metallica or Megadeth or Exodus or Testament. They're not doing that. They're also not just trying to replicate any other thrash metal legends, Anthrax, Creator, Destruction. You don't really get that vibe from Warbringer. What they seem to do, and they do very well, is thrash, but with their own identity. Over the course of their 7 albums, they seem to have really refined their sound, and they've got their own identity, which is very strong. And within that, although it's centrally thrash, the spine, if you like, of Warbringer's music and their sound is thrash. Coming off that, those ribs sticking out at all angles there. You've got little elements of kind of traditional heavy metal in there, kind of Nwabum flares at times. My ears pick up anyway. And then you kind of get speed metal influence as well. So, a little bit more kind of mid-pace thrashing stuff there. But you get a good, healthy mix of other things. So it's not just constant neck-shattering thrash. You get decent chuggy riffs, the kind of headbang along stuff to easy chug a beer kind of music. But this gem, already mentioned, Wrath and Ruin, this really is something special. So I am starting with this one because this album absolutely kicks backside in a very serious way. Here on the inside of our little digi, here is our current lineup. So Warbringer have undergone a few lineup changes over the years, which is just to be expected, I think. It's not uncommon. We've still got John Kevill on vocals. Good vocalist, really good kind of thrash metal vocalist. That kind of, it's not growling, it's harsh shouting, some shrieks thrown in for good measure. Good vocalist, good frontman there. We've got a great guitar duo here with Adam and Chase. Good riffers, I will say. These are talented axemen, and they know how to throw some decent thrashing riffs in your direction, guaranteed to shatter that neck. We've got Carlos absolutely killing the kit. Some very fine drumming throughout this album. They're a really tight outfit. Certainly this lineup sounds real tight. We've got Chase Bryant on bass as well. So there's our lineup. The result is an absolutely fantastic album. Kicks off with the absolutely superb The Sword and the Cross. A great number. Absolutely fantastic. That's a fine example of that kind of thrash being dragged through speed and more kind of heavy metal, I suppose. Tons of great riffs. Great hooks in there, absolutely brilliant. Better World, absolutely fantastic. I love that. One thing that really stands out with Warbringer is they're not a cliche thrash band. It's not that all of their music is entirely focused on one subject. They do kind of delve around into different areas, but it's not all just about chugging beer and banging heads. Thrash, it does tend to shall we say, lean in certain lyrical directions or thematic directions, tackle certain subjects, one being, you know, the kind of party thrash element, the other being, I guess, same with death metal, you know, murder and homicide and gore and horror and all that. The other area that thrash, I feel, focuses on quite a bit is the kind of socio-political stuff. People, politics, religion, that. You get quite a bit of that with Warbringer. They really do focus on that, and they do it well. The subject of the eye in the sky, and everything, your smartphone is tracking you. Everything you do is being observed. That comes up. The kind of we are all numb, just kind of drones following the same routine that we're told to. That kind of stuff comes up, and to good effect. They do that very well. A Better World is a fantastic example of that, because that's a real eye-opening track, and a decent thrasher as well. Neuromancer's brilliant. The Jackhammer, that kind of brings up the horror, murder kind of subject. Through a Glass Darkly, that is a real curveball. It's kind of got like almost a Cradle of Filth vibe to it, which also reappears in, should we say, very blackened style on Cage of Air, which is a brilliant thrasher that kind of leads into this awesome black metal, Cradle of Filth, Mystic Circle-esque barrage. It's absolutely brilliant. Very ghastly stuff. Strike from the Sky, amazing. Freaking love it. And the closing track, The Last of My Kind, which is absolutely brilliant. And I love the fact it says 6 minutes, 66 seconds long. Awesome. Okay. Great album, absolutely brilliant. So this is an album you absolutely need to hear from a band you absolutely need to hear. This is a great starting point. I feel like you can pick up any of Warbringer's albums and it's a fine representation of the band. But by this point, album number 7, with Wrath and Ruin, Warbringer sound like they're on top form. Absolutely brilliant. I'm still revisiting this album really regularly. And if you're a physical collector, do pick up the CD, because you get, as it says here, bonus live disc, Ravaging Europe 2023. So it's tracks from not just one single show, but across Europe. And it doesn't actually have the track list here on the sleeve, but it's a really great career expansive set. You get some really good, really punchy live renditions of some of Warbringer's best, and some of their lesser known tracks as well. But it's a fantastic representation of what this extremely talented bunch can achieve, and it's just a freaking great show. So do pick this one up. If you get hooked, which I anticipate you probably will, with Wrath and Ruin, the rest of the catalogue is essential checking out. Check it out. There is just tons of great stuff here. I particularly love the debut. It is very thrashing and it is heavy duty stuff. This is actually the 10th anniversary vinyl version, not an original. And I shan't show it off and get that out. But that's a great album, a really brilliant one. If you are a Warbringer fan, you might already have this. But a couple of years back, we've got the year on here, 2022. Courtesy of M Theory Audio, we have this awesome tape box set released. Let's show that off. I have shown this off and the War Without End vinyl on the channel in collection updates already, but this Total War is a brilliant box set. It includes a couple of demos from the early years there, 2005, 2006, and then we've got the 6 full-length albums that preceded Wrath and Ruin. So just to take you through, already mentioned the War Without End album, which is just a thrashing beast. There's some particularly excellent tracks like Total War, Dread Command, Shoot to Kill, Combat, Shock. A lot of these tracks do appear on the demos as well, which we have on double tape here. If you're the kind of fan that likes to delve right back into the roots and the early stuff, you will be richly rewarded here. On this compilation of the Born of the Ruins and One by One the Wicked Fall demos, on this little compilation here, you get some cracking thrash. It's very raw, very early stuff, but it's great. It's very energetic, very energetic. Picking up with the second album, this is an absolutely fantastic one. This is Waking into Nightmares. I will just take that out of the little case just to avoid maximum glare. I don't have these albums on CD. I've obviously got them, other than Wrath and Ruin, that is. I've got these on tape. This is a gem. This is an absolutely fantastic album. Released in 2009, so only a year after the debut. This is absolutely killer. Nice blue tape shell there. Absolutely love this one. Jackal is such a great track. Just thrash galore, proper headbang stuff there. In a Whirlwind, Scorched Earth is amazing. Pray for Death, Shadow from the Tomb. Awesome stuff. Look at that cover. Is that a Seagrave cover? I have checked this out before. Yes, it is. Of course it is. Dan Seagrave cover there. Absolutely brilliant second album. Really delivers. I will say, Warbringer are really quite consistent. Although they've definitely grown and refined their sound over time, they're a very, very consistent band. Another absolute gem, Worlds Torn Asunder. This is released 2011. I always like to get the year right. I always feel like that helps to show obviously the chronology, get my words out, the chronology of the band, but also puts the albums in a little bit of context. So, great cover and more excellent music as our lineup. These are really cool little tapes, actually. I'm pretty sure I've shown this off in a collection update, but if I haven't, then here's a little insight. Living Weapon, absolutely fantastic. Wake Up Destroy, Savagery. In fact, I even listened to this album again this morning, so testament to how good it is. Enemies of the State, Behind the Veils of Night. Great stuff. More excellent Warbringer, to be honest. There's a few tracks that really do carry that kind of heavy metal, speed metal leaning there, but to good effect. Really good effect. Album number 4 then is, again, it's an amazing album. Great cover as well. Really dig that. This is Empire's Collapse. Again, amazing tracks here. The Turning of the Gears I particularly enjoy. Hunter Seeker is such an absolute beast. That is just a riff-a-thon. Nice little white shell there. Dying Light, Iron City is a great one. That's a bit more of a kind of rockin' heavy metal number. Off With Their Heads, Tower of the Serpents. Brilliant stuff. You even get, on this version anyway, an interesting Led Zeppelin Communication Breakdown cover, which I think was a track they did for a compilation of some description. Now we get to 2 more absolutely essential frickin' gems. This is Woe to the Vanquished. I'll take that out of the shell as well. This is such a great album. Absolutely brilliant. It feels like quite a dark album, actually. It's very heavy, very thrashing. There's our awesome artwork there and our lineup. Includes some absolute monsters. Silhouettes is a great one. Title track is brilliant. Remain Violent. Shellfire has to be one of Warbringer's best tracks. I freaking love that number. Spectral Asylum. When the Guns Fell Silent is an 11-minute plus epic. It's obviously got that kind of very dark First World War connotations there. It's just amazing. Absolutely. It's harrowing stuff. It's really dark in nature, but great, almost, dare I say, mature thrash. Definite evolution there. Woe to the Vanquished. That is one of the other essential albums to check out, as is the excellent, if I can get it out of the shell, Weapons of Tomorrow. Again, great cover. This is a fantastic album. Again, with some very decent tracks. Firepower Kills. The Black Hand Reaches Out. Crushed beneath the tracks. Absolutely monstrous. Should say this was released in 2020. Woe to the Vanquished was 2017. Unraveling, Power Unsurpassed, Notre Dame King of Fools, Glorious End, absolutely fantastic. Another really solid Warbringer album, just top quality stuff. I am a tape collector, fan of tape, so I will say that these albums do sound really good in this tape form. If you're a tape collector as well, I'm not able to comment on the availability of this Total War box set. I got it year or so ago. I do know that M Theory have reissued some of these albums on tape more recently, so you might be able to pick those up. But this is a really cool box set. If it's still available, comes with an awesome patch, comes with an awesome sticker, and an awesome logo badge. Very nice touch. Warbringer are a freaking brilliant band, US, Californian thrash metal. Not just trying to emulate, not ripping off anyone else. They've really got their own sound and style, and that is particularly apparent on Wrath and Ruin. Absolutely solid. 9 out of 10 stuff. Maybe even 9.5, I'd go as far to say. It ranked very highly in my top 15 albums of 2025, and with very good reason, because it is a thrash fest. Absolutely love it. All of the other 6 albums are well worth checking out. I wouldn't like to compare them to too many other bands. Try to avoid doing that these days. But if you do love your thrash, but you also enjoy maybe the speed metal, kind of speed thrash crossover stuff, you're going to dig Warbringer. They are a very active band, it seems, on the live circuit. I know they've recently completed tours alongside, I think it was Decapitated and Cryptopsy. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend that one, but they haven't also been able to see them live. I hope to one day, though, but they do seem to be a very active band, so check them out. Show some support for Warbringer, freaking amazing band. So, my friends, what are your thoughts on Warbringer? Are you already a fan, a follower of the thrashing faith, or not? Check them out. Let me know what you think. Interested to hear thoughts and opinions of others, as always. Do feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. Support is very much appreciated. Hope you've enjoyed this humble review. Check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good heavy things. Until next time, listen to Warbringer, thrash till death, and stay frickin' heavy.